Okay, we are live. So, welcome to the career show. In this show, we will discuss about the different career options that we can explore in India. And this is our first show. And today we have with Patra, who is a senior manager with Bank of Baroda. He is from Orissa and he has a bachelor's degree in agricultural science and MBA in agri financing or agricultural science, something I do not know. I think he will give his introduction, so he will clarify it. But he is someone who is very familiar with the career in agricultural science, and in particular in India. So we will know from him. If you have any question, you can also ask us in the in the chat section, and yeah, we'll get the answers from Mr. Patra. The language will be English and Hindi, so you are allowed to use both. So you can ask us in Hindi as well as in English, based on your level of comfort. So without much ado, I will start. So I'd like to request you, Kruti Babu, to give us an introduction, about your journey, your schooling, your college, your the jobs that you have done in past, and the job that you are doing, and what you are doing exactly. So in brief, if you could tell us about yourself, and then we will go on from there. Over to you, Mr. Patra.
Okay. So, at the time I say that this is a great initiative. No doubt there are multiple options for students nowadays to learn about different career options and all, but still we people in the industry, it is always good to interact with them to find out what is all happening and to also the understanding about the journey of a person living in the sector. So, it's a people belong to the, and we are first batch students. So, this is Kruti Sunder Patra. I belong to a state Odisha in India. And education-wise, I studied in the central government aided school, Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya. It's a CBSE medium school. And then after that, I studied Bachelor in Science with Agriculture as specialization in Odisha University of Agriculture and Technology. And then I did my post-graduation diploma in Agribusiness Management from Manage Hyderabad. It is an institute by Ministry of Agriculture. It is an autonomous body under the Ministry of Agriculture. And in today's scenario, it is one of the best institutes considered for agribusiness management in the country. After my agribusiness management, so basically people know it as MBA in agribusiness. After that, I joined Kotak Mahindra Bank as a relationship manager for corporate credit into agriculture and rural development sector. So for about 3.5 years, I was there. Then I joined as a consultant with one of four MNC as a consultant for government projects. So basically, my role was to advise the developments on agriculture, MS, horticulture. I've been so I joined the government itself by working in Bank of Baroda, which is the third largest public sector bank in India, as a agriculture product specialist. So basically, it was in 2017 when the bank introduced a new concept of higher in banking sector as agriculture or development. But in 2017, bank took a different shape and they hired through lateral entry for people with expertise in different sectors called as product specialist. So I joined as an agriculture product specialist for high-tech agriculture. So this is my journey in brief.
Okay.
I think we will
Yes.
go in details about what how the career means for agriculture
Yes.
students and
Yes.
how it can be shaped.
Yes. Thanks for the kind introduction. Just for note, I think your voice is breaking sometimes. So if it doesn't work out very well, what we will do is that we will switch off the video. Actually, we will make it only audio. But let's try it maybe one more time. I mean, we will continue for another 5 minutes or so. If the video is actually not very clear, then we will make it only audio rather than having both, because with the slow network it's always good to go with only audio than with both audio and video. Okay, so thanks for the introduction, wonderful introduction. And I would like to know actually, first of all, what are the opportunities that we have in India in agricultural science? So once students
Okay.
decide that they will go for a bachelor's degree in agricultural science, what are the opportunities beside the one that you are pursuing? What are the other opportunities? And also in comparison to, let's say, so I also like to know what exactly is the difference between an engineering in agricultural technology and a science program, because you have by B.Sc as well as B.Tech in agricultural science. If you could throw some light on that, it will be great.
Right. Okay. So, see, the first question is what is the scope of agriculture-related subjects? So, basically, when we say agriculture, it will be agriculture, horticulture, then veterinary sciences, then agriculture engineering of farm mechanization. So, when we say agriculture, of husbandry and rearing of poultry, pig rotary, everything.
Kruti
But when we
Babu,
say
sorry to
agriculture
interrupt you.
or agriculture,
Sorry to interrupt you. Can we go only audio, because it seems that your voice is not clear. It's because of the slow internet. So it's better that we switch off the video and only go with the audio.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it fine now?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah. Is it fine now?
Yes. Yes, it is. It
Okay.
is.
So I was saying that normally when we talk about agriculture,
Yeah. Go ahead.
mother subjects. When I say agriculture related means it is agriculture, horticulture, then it comes your veterinary sciences and agriculture technology. So technology is more about farm mechanization activities. So all your tractors, pumps, irrigation, other equipment for irrigation, combined harvesters, all that equipment that we see that comes under agriculture technology. Horticulture is fruits, vegetables, and so basically all what do you call high value crops that we can say. So all plantation activities, all fruits and all vegetables will come under horticulture. Then the veterinary sciences is about animal husbandry, poultry, piggery, goat activities. And here is mix of everything. We have olives, we have fruits, vegetables, we have part of animal husbandry. So that's why there is a big demand for agriculture subject, because it's not list scheme under agriculture. It has coverage or course details for each of the special subject as well. So now your question was about what are the different career options. So everybody in the country knows that even though we have progressed a lot in manufacturing and service sector, still India is called to be an agrarian country, because we have a huge population, about 60 to 65% of the population still depending directly or indirectly on the agriculture. So it has a less share on the Indian GDP, but because it employs a lot of people, that's why it is one of the primary sector to create job and livelihoods. So what happens is the country will keep on producing foods, right? So for that, there is a need for research, there is a need for extension activity to pass on the research that is happening on the lab in the land. There is a need for people to work in the sectors called as procurement. There is a need to engage people for marketing and promotion. So if I have to give in more details, it is like a graduate in agriculture can have options to work for first thing as in a bank as an agriculture officer or a rural development officer, because it is expected that a lot of credit is happening to the banking sector. That's why the role of agriculture officer remains. That is one. Second is one can continue his higher study and get into the research activities. So in every district there is a Krishi Vigyan Kendra. In every block there are agriculture extension officers or assistant agriculture officers whose role is to help farmers to teach about new farming practices, to oversee all the farming activities happening in that area. So one set of job opportunities lies in the research and extension. The other set of opportunities in the government agriculture department. So government has agriculture, horticulture, soil conservation, veterinary. These 4 different departments are there. So people studying in agri and allied activities can get engagement in those departments. Then nowadays marketing is the key for everything. A lot of people can opt for rural management or agribusiness management as a next course, professional course in their area. So what happens for every fertilizer company, seed company, then companies engaged into medicines in agriculture, we call it pesticides, or any tractor manufacturing company, any company who is engaged into this what we call pumps, inputs, other activities. So they also need a marketing team for them. They need people to promote these products among the farmers, to communicate the benefits of the new activities or the new developments happening in these sectors. So that's why these companies engage a lot of people for in the sales and marketing team. Again, in private sector, there is a huge scope for research and development. So all these companies use science and technology. Today, everyone knows there are big companies like Syngenta, then beyond new companies like Dow, DuPont, Bayer, B.Sc. These all big companies are engaged into farm inputs. So, Coromandel, then fertilizer companies like Paradip Phosphate, Juari. So these all companies need product marketing of different input activities. Then the other activities lies is nowadays a lot of crop estimation planning is happening, where insurance sector is engaging people for doing crop cutting experiments. Then there is a satellite-based estimation activities also happening, where agriculture students also get engaged for helping in what they call your crop estimation through satellite imagery and doing the real estimation at the ground by doing crop cutting experiments.
Okay. So thanks for elaborating on the different career options that we have in India in agricultural science. I'd like to know from a standpoint of opportunity right after you graduate. Okay, so normally what happens in India is
Okay.
that people actually want to get jobs right after they finish their studies instead of waiting. Actually, this is because
Right.
oftentimes what happens is that those who are interested in agriculture science, they're also writing veterinary science and engineering, medicine, and all that. So
Yes.
my question is that do companies visit campuses to hire students, or is that students have to apply themselves in these companies? I know that in for the top colleges for MBAs, like the one that you went to, there you have campus selection facilities, but I'm not sure if these facilities are there in, let's say, in OUAT in Odisha or in other agricultural universities and colleges. What's exactly is the thing?
Okay. Nice question, Mr. Jit. Actually, I'll give you some more information on it. Normally, we call engineering or MBBS as professional degrees, but the government of India considers agriculture also as a professional degree. So nowadays, what is happening
Can
is,
I interrupt you again? Can
you
I
know, the
can I interrupt you for a moment? I think your headphone is not working
yeah.
properly. That's why there is a buzz in the sound also.
Okay, just tell me whether
Yeah, this is better.
it is
This is
fine
much
now.
better. This is much better.
Yeah, okay. I think the battery would be down.
Okay.
Okay, so I was saying you were talking about the campus recruitments.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
see, nowadays what is happening is a lot of these agri input companies, so fertilizer, seed, or these chemical companies, they are visiting to different agriculture colleges and they are doing fresh recruitment from the campus directly. So no need for a MBA degree. Like I studied in OUAT and Paradeep Fertilizer, Paradeep Phosphate Limited, they come for campus recruitment. There are various development organizations like microfinance institutes. They also come for campus recruitment. Like I remember in our time, B.Sc, Pradhan, all these people would come to our campus for recruiting people. But nowadays it has gone up because every company in India is expected to do some sort of CSR activities, and for a lot of CSR based organizations, agriculture and livelihood remains one of their core area of work for which they need people to do this groundwork. So you name it, Syngenta Foundation, you name it, Aditya Birla Foundation, you name it. Tata Trust itself runs the one of the biggest program philanthropic activities in the country,
Right.
and majority of them is agriculture and livelihood based activities. Then microfinance has been a boom to the country, and a lot of recruitments are happening there. Even some time back, the banks have stopped coming to the campuses for recruitment. They are taking it through a common entrance exam. Otherwise, till last 3 4 year back only, banks would directly come to visit agriculture colleges for campus recruitment.
Okay.
So in today's scenario, high paid job are recruited after MBA through campus, but the entry level salary packages or entry level roles are being recruited directly from the agriculture universities or colleges.
Okay. Perfect. Next question is about going for a master's degree. I know that a bachelor's degree in agriculture is also a 3-year degree, like other bachelor's degree, say in physics or maths, unlike professional degrees like BTECs and
No, just a rectification. Actually, bachelor's in agriculture is a 4 year degree.
oh, so,
That's why it is professional.
oh, is it so? Okay, so BSc AG is a 4-year degree, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Okay,
The
so that's good.
related degree. Sorry, I missed out. There is one even fishery for fishery science.
Okay.
So everything is 4 year degree. Only veterinary is 5 year degree.
Oh, I see. I see. So, okay, that's clear. So, I was wondering if what's the need to go for a master's degree? Do we get jobs right after bachelor's degree, or is there a need to go for a master's degree in agricultural science?
Okay, so the type of works that I have said for a bachelor's degree was more into extension activities, right? But what happens is there are a need for even specialized roles. Let's say a company is having its own R&D unit, research and development unit. So people related to what you call plant pathology, plant physiology, or horticulture, means fruit sciences. They are recruited by them for doing what you call R&D activities.
Okay.
So there is an opportunity for just B.Sc graduates where entry level positions are there. For MSc people, there are some more high paid jobs, majorly into research and development activities. If you don't go for MSc, then the option left for you is you can go for Master in Business Administration in agribusiness as a specialization. So again, that also leads you to sales and marketing, consultancy, then what do you call it, procurement, supply chain related activities. All dairy activity in all dairy companies do need supply chain experts. So they need people with agriculture or veterinary background with an added MBA in agribusiness management.
Okay.
For recruiting.
Okay, it's clear. So just to enter this B.Sc program or B.Tech program in agriculture science or technology, whatever be it, what is the criteria as to do we need to have biology in 12th science, or is not, is something that people without biology can also enter?
Yeah, actually, because agriculture has it deals with biology and zoology, so subjects with biology people are only preferred. Yeah, but for B.Tech in agriculture, where the major roles lies in farm machineries or implements, biology is not a requirement there. But for veterinary, horticulture, agriculture, fishery, biology is a requirement. And I think nowadays, from 12th class onwards, they have started introducing agriculture as a small subject
Okay.
within their curriculum. So probably in the time to come, it will become even streamlined from 10 plus 2 only.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so I have another question, which is that for jobs in banks, right, they hire agricultural specialists, but is it that they hire only people with experience or people who are fresh out of college? I'm asking because I know for sure that you have experience prior to joining this bank, right? Your current
Yeah.
organization. But is it that someone
So
with
I think for Yeah, I said like the entry level position in a bank is an agriculture officer or a rural development officer. Normally, what happens is in India, any bank who is operating has to undergo the mandatory, has to fulfill the mandatory target specified by the RBI under priority sector lending. So, agriculture being a priority sector lending constitutes of 20% of target of the overall lending. So let's say me working in Bank of Baroda, if we do a total business of 15 lakh crores, then roughly about 18% has to be agriculture. So that mandates banks to hire agriculture officers. So when they hire at the junior level. So these people are not necessarily experienced people.
But these are
They
at
will
PO
be
level, right?
direct.
Bank PO level. Specialist
Yes,
officers at
yes,
the
they
bank
will
PO
be
level.
nominated bank level. Yes, right.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, when I joined, see, agriculture itself is a special category.
Right.
I joined within specialization, I joined as a separate activity called as product specialization. That's why for me there was a need for experience.
Yeah.
So
Do
I
all the
joined
banks
as
do all the banks in India hire, or is just some specialized banks?
yeah, all the public sector banks definitely hire people for through what do you call bachelors in agriculture or allied sciences. In private sector, a lot of banks have started hiring. Otherwise, they used to hire people with MBA or agribusiness management degree. But because nowadays they will, because of their growth in balance sheet, they also need to meet that mandatory requirement. That's why they have also started hiring. So Today in India, every PSB, every private bank is hiring agriculture officers who
Yeah.
are fulfilling their
Yeah.
sector lending norms.
Yeah, so you spoke about even the governments, different state governments are also hiring, right? Agricultural officer at district level, at
Right.
state level. But is also
Block
central
level,
government
yes.
hiring? Do you have any specialized class, grade A or grade B officers jobs for agriculture? People with agriculture background.
Yes, Odisha government has agriculture officers and veterinary officers through the Odisha Public Service Commission. These people are earlier used to join as a what do you call it, gazetted officer grade 2, but nowadays there is a discussion going on with the government to make it grade 1. So,
Okay, what about
yes,
central
people are.
government? I would like to know what about central government? Do we have jobs in central government also?
Yes, actually, central government itself now has multiple departments. I'll tell you, name a few. Like Ministry of Agriculture is there. Under that, it has Director of Horticulture, Directorate of Agriculture, Directorate of Farmer Welfare Cooperation. Then Soil Science itself is a separate department. Then your irrigation is a separate department because irrigation means infrastructure, but within that a lot of agri-related activity also comes. Then Ministry of Food Processing is there who are hiring people with agriculture experience. Then there is the what do you call cooperative development department is there,
Okay.
who also need people from agriculture and agri-related background. So roughly you see that there are a lot of ministries. Within them there are a lot of other entities like National Fishery Development Board is there. Then your what do you call for every crop there is a National Crop Research Center. There is a National Indian Council of Agriculture and Research is there. And then for veterinary, there is a Indian Veterinary Council. There is a Indian Veterinary Research Institute. There is a everyone would be knowing Amul. Amul was the product of NDDB, National Dairy Development Board. Dairy is a company of NDDB. So a lot of opportunities are there in the government sector. And nowadays, because of this Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, which is a scheme for ensuring crop, government has its own insurance companies, National Agriculture Insurance Companies. So again, agriculture officers are also required there. Even few of the people are required under what do you call it, civil supply departments, FCI, whatever procurements they are doing, that is done by agriculture officers. Then there are agencies like NAFED. Then what do you call it? I said Cold Chain Development Agency.
Okay.
So in a central government today there is plethora of scope for agri and agri-allied subject students.
Okay, and I guess also the factories, right? Like we have Omphed in Odisha, but also like Amul or Mother Dairy, right? A lot of these.
Milk federations.
Sorry?
Every state is having their own milk federations.
Federations, right?
So, yeah, they need people for extension activities, means teaching farmer about how to do the farming and all. Even they have their own feed manufacturing units, procurement teams. So agriculture officers are also recruited by them.
Okay, great. What about the salaries? That's one important thing that students are always keen on knowing.
Yeah, when one joins in bank, it is again a scale one, like we said. The entry is as a probationary officer. So the salary is at par. If one is joining as a like in different state governments as a gazetted officer under their public service commission, then it attracts the grade of the state government for grade 1 or grade 2. So it is again at par. Normally, if people are joining from campus, from different colleges, if it is an MNC or something like this, then they would get at least about 4 to 5 lakh package. If
suppose companies like Reliance Foundation, if they are recruiting, they will pay a little higher. But smaller microfinance institutes, they will pay lesser. See, again, because it is a very quantitative, it cannot be quantified as such. It is a quality matter
Right.
based on one individual's performance, one's career progression,
Right.
and the college from where they have studied, their alma mater, it also depends. But overall, I'll say that when in today's scenario, what happens is there was a time a lot of engineers were produced in the country, but in today's scenario, a lot of engineers also are jobless or
Right.
striving hard to get a decent job.
Right.
But in that scenario, agriculture has become one of the choicest option for people because opportunities have evolved in the last 15 to 20 years,
Okay.
and a good number of what you call people are getting diverted toward agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
And income wise and the entry salary wise, like I will say that when I did the MBA before that, I also got multiple offers, and it was all in the range of 4 to 6 lakhs.
Mm-hmm.
But I have friends who joined in different organizations even at a higher package, and there are few people who joined at a lower package.
Okay.
So I think it has improved a lot, and today it is in a better position than many other fields.
Okay. So, at an all India level, what are the famous colleges or university that we have for bachelor's degree and also for
Okay.
master's degree? Not just for master's in agriculture science, but for MBA. I know one of like your college is one of the topmost, but what are the other colleges? I don't know both, like for bachelor's as well as for master's.
Okay, so I'll start with the bachelor's degree. In bachelor's degree, there are actually in India almost every state has at least one university. In few of the states, they have 4 to 5 universities. Maharashtra has good number of universities. Gujarat has good number of universities. But if we say college-wise, uh, because I belong to Odisha, I'll feel proud about it. Odisha University of Agriculture and Technology is one of the reputed university, but we do not stand better when compared to Tamil Nadu Agriculture University or Govind Ballabh Pant Agriculture University and Technology that is in Uttarakhand. So college-wise, like I said, because a lot of people, if you are joining a bank, then college becomes immaterial because
Right.
you have to go through the All India entrance,
Right.
common entrance test.
Right.
But if it is about campus, then these few colleges will have better prospect for campus. Okay, then if I talk about MSc, a lot of people join junior research fellowship, senior research fellowship after MSc. So college-wise, we have one good college at Karnal. Indian Agriculture Research Institute is the top institute in India, that is in Delhi. Then again, Tamil Nadu Agriculture University stands better. Uh, so I will say that for very specific subject, different universities stand better. Suppose for horticulture, Solan University, Solan College is good because they do good horticulture. In Himachal, good horticulture activities are there. Or if we talk about floriculture, then Karnataka-based universities do better. If we talk about what you call oil seed, then Gujarat universities are better. If we talk about pulses, Madhya Pradesh universities are better. So based on the local condition of the crops that are grown in those area, or the agriculture activities done in that area, those colleges stand better. Yeah. Now we are talking about the master's business administration program. There are two categories in it. One is MBA in agriculture or rural management. In rural management, we have very limited number of institutes. That is, one is the best one is Institute of Rural Management, Anand, IRMA we call it. Then there is one Institute of Rural Management in Jaipur. Then in Odisha we have one Kalinga Institute of Rural Management.
Right.
So these are best instituted in rural management. Then when it comes to MBA, I am Lucknow is having MBA in agribusiness. I am Ahmedabad is having MBA in agribusiness. Then National Institute of Agriculture Extension Management, that is managed Hyderabad. That is the best institute in agri extension. Then there is one more institute, that is National Institute of Agriculture Marketing, that is in Jaipur. And one more institute is there, Indian Institute of Forest Management, IIFM.
Bhopal,
that is
right?
in
Yes.
Bhopal. Yes. And one more is Vaikuntnath Mehta College of Cooperative Management. That is Vamnikam in short, that is in Pune. So these are the few best institutes for MBA or agribusiness management degrees.
Okay, great. I also like to know opportunities abroad, right? Do you also have experience, your friends going abroad, making a career outside of India, or organizations that are based out of other countries but they are operating out of India? For example,
Yes.
UNESCO or World Health Organization, World Food Program.
Right.
I know even many because I studied economics, so many of my friends who studied environmental economics. I remember there are a few who are working with some food research organization in Delhi, but it's an organization from Washington, but it has its
Right.
branch in Delhi and they're working there. So, do you also have experience? Okay, students going abroad or maybe working in India, but working for companies that are based or organizations based out of other countries.
Right. See, I'll take the first example is like you work in Rabobank, right? Rabobank has a lot of focus on agriculture.
Yes.
I have friends working there.
Okay.
A lot of people from India go there as what you call portfolio managers,
Right.
because they have significant investment in countries like India and Asian countries basically. So,
Yes.
good number of people are there. Then internationally, there are few reputed organizations like CIMMYT, CIMMYT. So they do research on maize because maize is one of the major cereal. Then Indian Rice Research, International Rice Research Institute. That is also again for good opportunity for agriculture related subject people. Then in India we have one international institute, that is ICRISAT, International Crop Research Institute for Semi-Arid Tropics. They do a lot of research in millet-based foods. Then we have Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO. There is a World Food Program, UNESCO for its children nutrition addressing nutrition concerns in children. They also have opportunities. I have friends working in Asian Development Bank. Even I myself was for some time a consultant working under projects from World Bank and IFC. So internationally, these are the organizations. But if we talk about research and development, again, that has huge scope because a lot of agri-dominant countries like Israel, Netherlands, Switzerland, they have because a lot of MNCs in these inputs or dairy sectors are from these countries, Australia. So a lot of people also go there. In India today, all these farm equipments irrigation equipments are from majorly Israel. The high-tech cultivation that we do, hydroponics, aquaponics, these are from Israel. But on the cattle segment, this comes from the Western countries. Because all the big Nestle's, Danone, all these companies are from the Western. So, good amount of opportunities are there. Then you identified a right point about economics or environmental science today because of the focus being given a lot to the global greenhouse gas emission and all. People with agriculture background are getting opportunities to work in this organization. So I know people working in even in what do you call, because the United Nations has different sustainability development goals.
Yes.
So under SDG, uh, environmental, all this pollution or these matters are also a big concern. So when food is there, agriculture people are there. When economics is there, agriculture people are there. When research and development is there, agriculture people are there. When banking or rural development is there, agriculture people are there. When environmental policies or international cooperation is there, still agriculture people are there. So
Yes.
I think a lot of opportunities are getting open up in the international market, and people from India do get good chances. India being a member countries of these organizations, a lot of people go there. Even I know people joining under young professional program with different international bodies.
Okay. What about this Indian Forest Service examination? Is it something that even students from agricultural science background go for? Is it something, because I know that even people with forestry background or even zoology background, because there is some entry criteria also, right, for that.
Yeah. So actually, for IFS, they run a different exam, not part of the
The
normal
normal
civil
civil
service
service exam,
examination
right?
that we
Yes.
know. But the eligibility for that is majorly agriculture, forestry, and botany as a subject.
Mm-hmm.
These three people get fair chances. Yeah.
Okay.
But one thing I also missed out to say is like forestry we discussed, but on the administrative part, like in most of the states, if we see the Public Service Commission or even the Indian Administrative Services, a good number of people with agriculture background have joined,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe because of having a dedicated course for 4 years, people opt this as a choice subject for writing different administrative exams. So, good number of agriculture officers or agriculture graduates are now have now become successful administrators in
Okay.
India.
Okay.
Right?
Good. I'd like to know about opportunities in the policy making area. I know that you are working with the state government of Odisha on behalf of EY or PwC. I don't remember which organization it was, in the policy implementation area, right? So, what are the
Right.
opportunities? I know that even central government hires consultants, right, from different fields for implementation
Right.
programs and
Right.
all. So, yeah, can you throw some
So
light on that?
actually, there are need for first thing is sectoral experts.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are National Horticulture Board or National Horticulture Mission. They need people to identify different horticulture related activities and help farmer to do this. Or they hire consultants for appraising or identifying such projects and opportunities behind it. Then consultants are required, within NABARD there is a sister concern, NABCON.
Mm-hmm.
NABARD is totally in rural development and agriculture. So NABCON hire majorly agriculture expert, agriculture subject people. Then, like I myself have worked in big four companies. So when the government hire consultancies, means as a company for policy making in agriculture, rural development, your forest management, then food processing. So a preference is given to people with agriculture background. Yeah, people with just bachelors may not get a great opportunity in these organizations, but people with masters or with MBAs with certain experience would
Okay.
get fair chance
Okay.
to work for.
Okay, thanks. Just one last question, maybe, or maybe last few questions. One last question is that, okay, beside agricultural science, what are the other things that one is expected to know to sort of get these jobs? Not just get these jobs, but do well in these jobs. From my
So basically,
conversations,
you're asking on the policy
even
segment.
all, I mean, except maybe the more technical jobs. I'm not talking about research, but jobs in
Okay.
banks, jobs in these government organizations. What are the other skills that one is expected to have in order to get jobs in these
So,
places?
okay. So normally what happens is today if you do any bachelor degree, by default some sort of economics, some sort of soft skills are
Yes,
being part of the
right.
course, right? So what happens is if you know only agriculture, suppose you're joining a bank, you see, a lot of also thing comes through experience. So maybe before joining, people would not know what is a balance sheet, what analysis has to be done,
Yes,
what are the different credit risks. Once they join, they learn it because in agriculture, within their 4 years, they have studied a little bit of economics, they studied little bit of
yes,
statistics,
yes.
uh, these internal ratios, how to create a project.
Mm-hmm.
Even if for farming, you need to create a project
Right.
which will get finance. So that outlook is required. And when we are talking about suppose consultancy and all, then what happens is core agriculture does not become the only need. It need to have you need to have an update about what is happening across the world, what other developments are happening in different states. Suppose in Odisha we do not grow other than mango, we don't grow mango, papaya, or banana. We don't grow much of fruits.
Mm-hmm.
So, someone expecting a job in a national level institute or a central level organization is expected to have an outlook on overall Indian agriculture, what is happening, how the
Yes,
export import is happening, what are the surplus, how the processing opportunities are there.
yes,
So, I think based on the type of job, the skill set is will get filtered.
mm-hmm.
So if you are working into rural development sector, then I think your major need will be how good you can gel with local people, how good you are in what do you call adjusting yourself to the climate, to the food, to
Yes,
the language, culture of people.
mm-hmm.
If you are into rural development,
Yes, yes,
so I think in general, beyond your subject knowledge, one has to have a better soft skill, which is very much needed.
yeah,
The other part is knowing beyond your subject is what going to be the differentiator.
okay,
I just know agriculture that will not help me to stand out because
mm-hmm.
a lot of correlation happens.
Mm-hmm.
Today it cannot be a very specific. One cannot be specific that I just know how to grow rice, but where to grow rice, where rice is grown, what other varieties can be grown
Yes,
for improving the production or the productivity is required. For that,
right,
one has to have this knowledge about different activities happening around the country, around the world. Uh, yeah, I believe
yeah,
it's a mix of thing one has to have. It
right.
cannot be only agriculture.
Right, right. Especially because agriculture is also now becoming one of the core sector for not just for developing countries, even for developed countries. Why? Because firstly, I think with the growing population, it is becoming very difficult for countries to meet the demand for food and other things related to agriculture. And secondly, I think it will be a differentiator in terms of sustainability, right? Countries have to sustain themselves when it comes to requirement for food, not just for human beings but also for the domestic animals. And therefore it's very important that one is self-reliant when it comes to agriculture. And India certainly is dependent because I think majority of our population depend on this particular sector, on the employment. And second thing that we are a
Yes, you're
population of
pointing
one
it
point.
right. Dependency on food is going to be there.
Yes,
So agriculture has to remain. That is first
right.
thing. And because the population is growing but the land is limited, so the efficiency in the production has to improve. Today, vertical farming is happening.
Yes,
Today, high density plantations are happening.
yes, yeah.
Even rather, I will say when all these production related activities are being focused, there is also a focus how to address on the greenhouse gas emission, because agriculture is one of the largest contributors to that.
Yeah.
So today people are trying to figure out alternatives of what you call animal based protein.
Right.
And I think nowadays
Right.
a lot of companies are coming up with research and developing products,
Yes.
which is all plant based protein.
Plant-based protein. Yes.
So
So
starting from egg, milk, dairy products, then meat, all these are going to be probably replaced with the plant-based activities.
Right,
So
right.
no need for cluttering to happen in the days to come.
Yes. Okay. So so related to that, I will ask the last question, which is that what are the opportunity in entrepreneurship, like in India in particular? I'm asking. I know because I follow what's going on in the startup space in India, and there is something called agri-tech, right? Where you are you are actually bringing in technology to agriculture, not just to
Yes.
procurement or supply chain, but also to production, right?
Yeah, actually, on the startup phase, agri-tech has been a very what do you call highly what do you call having a significant opportunity. Today in the country, we have roughly about 600 plus startups working in different fields. So it could be improving the efficiency, it could be improving the productivity. It is about creating market linkages.
Mm-hmm.
India runs a program that is what do you call ENAM, National Agriculture Market. It is
Mm-hmm.
one of its kind in the entire country. So on startup wise, good amount of technology is coming in. People are now going into precision agriculture, where I know when to irrigate my crop, at what time I should use the drone to apply fertilizers,
Yeah.
to apply pesticides. They are trying to predict the weather and accordingly plan their farm activities.
Yeah.
And, so agri-tech wise, there is huge development happening, and because the country has a big opportunity for improving its own agriculture system,
Mm-hmm.
productivity or the production, market linkage and processing. So big scope is there. But when I say, when you also asked a question about entrepreneurship,
Mm-hmm.
not that one can go for entrepreneurship just having a startup.
Right.
One can go for simple growing of food and call himself as an entrepreneur.
Right.
You can raise a poultry, you can raise animals to do dairy, you can do a mushroom farming, you can go for fishing activities by creating artificial ponds.
Yes.
You can go for what you call growing cereals, fruits, vegetables, then so everything. One can just go for growing is one activity. Second is little value addition to them. I can go for just aggregating things, doing grading, sorting, then packaging and selling.
Yeah.
I can, that is one set of entrepreneurs. The other set of entrepreneurs are who will collect things from the farmers and connect to the demand area.
Mm-hmm.
Suppose Maharashtra grows, in India, onion is grown in Maharashtra majorly,
Yes.
but the entire country consumes onion.
Mm-hmm.
So this onion is transported to every part of the country. Apple is grown in Kashmir or Himachal. It gets transported till the southern corner. So
Right.
that there lies for improving the efficiency in the supply chain, as well as on the price discovery through the market linkages.
Right.
So, like we said, growing is the first possibility for a basic entrepreneurship that is possible.
Mm-hmm.
Then aggregating and supplying it to a local processor can also be the same. Can also be called as entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Going for high value processing can be called as entrepreneurship. You can do the what you call market linkage from major markets to demand and supply based markets.
Yes.
And there can be there can one found opportunities to engage themselves.
Yes. Also, with these startups coming up, right, in India, I think the employment opportunities for agricultural graduates will also increase in future, right?
Yes,
There also
actually,
we
the
have.
biggest worry for the country was after Green Revolution, we started producing much, but
Mhm.
we didn't know where to sell. We did not have infrastructure to store them up for selling in the future.
Right.
So, all these startups and agri-tech companies are trying to evolve those mechanisms. So,
Mm-hmm.
where because production is sufficient right now, we
Right.
are one of the what do you call top producers in almost major commodities,
Right.
major agri producers.
Right.
But the problem is that only 25 to 30% is still going waste.
Right.
So these startups and entrepreneurs are trying to create an infrastructure where this wastage is reduced, and just by reducing this wastage, you will be adding up to the GDP, the gross value
Right.
output can increase.
That is true.
So yeah, because there will be now a connection between the farmer and the agri-tech company or the startup for
Yes.
different activities. The role of agriculture graduates becomes more imminent to become the what do you call ultimate carrier of
Right. Right.
things.
Yeah. Maybe one last very small question before we end. Do you also have private colleges that provide bachelor's
Sorry, I could
master's?
not hear you. Can you just come
No, my
again?
question is that do you also have private colleges in India that offer these courses, or is just government colleges and universities?
No, a lot of private colleges has opened up. Like I said, there is a mass drift happening from technology-based
Right.
education, like B.Tech and all,
Yes.
to agriculture. So,
Right.
a lot of private colleges are operating in the country, and new colleges are coming up. Like Allahabad Agriculture University is there. It is a
Mm-hmm.
private university.
Okay.
In Odisha, we have Utkal University, a central state government university, but they have a agribusiness management degree within that under a PPP program. That is mostly a private entity.
Right.
We have another Centurion University who has been running a complete 4 year degree for agriculture and horticulture
Yeah.
students. So that is private. A lot of private institutes are coming up. Even on the management part, I said, other than IAM or Manage or IRMA,
Mm-hmm.
NIAM, almost everything is private.
Right. Right. Okay. Great. Okay, so it's been wonderful discussing with you. We have discussed 1 full hour. Uh, uh, okay, if you have more questions, we will let you know actually, because we have got few questions, but not related to the discussion actually. These are comments, not questions, so I will not take them up with you. But I have asked most of the questions that one would have if he was thinking about or she was thinking about pursuing a career in this field. But thanks, Koti Babu. Wonderful talking to you after a long time, and talk to you soon.
Thanks, Vishwajit. Very good initiative. And because agriculture is an emerging sector, I feel privileged to be part of this activity and considering my subject as the first subject for you
Yes,
to start this series. And
excellent.
because I myself is an enthusiast in agriculture, what I'll prefer is people who have different queries or they want more guidance on this subject, they can reach out to me directly,
Yes,
and I'm just available through a message.
yes.
So people can just ping me or DM me on my Facebook, Insta, or
Okay.
LinkedIn,
Yeah.
or anywhere.
Okay.
I'll be of help, and I'll try to help out as many people as possible.
Okay. Great.
I wish you would to uh, carry on all these activities and keep giving people more options about choosing a choice-based career.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, Koti Babu.
Thank you, Vishwajit.
हाँ, ମୁଁ end କରିଦେଲି session.